And let me go straight to Washington, D.C., where Sajeeb Wazed is joining me live now, Sheikh Hasina's son. Sajeeb, thank you for speaking to India today. My first question is, you would have heard about the verdict which has come in. What are your thoughts? The death sentence announced against your mother, the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. Look, everyone knew this sentence was predetermined. These trials were rushed. I mean, it's a historic trial, and they finished it in, 2 months, 3 months. This is an unelected, unconstitutional, undemocratic government. They amended the laws, which can't be done without Parliament, to enable this trial. She was not allowed to send her own defense attorneys. It's a complete mockery of justice.
Okay, but Sajeeb, my next question would be, when did you last speak to your mother? Did you speak to her after the sentence was announced?
No, actually, I'm sure she has been on the phone. I've called her. I've not had a chance to speak to her. She did not answer, so I have not spoken to her in a couple of days.
As far as the legal route is concerned, what is the family planning to do next? What is Awami League, your mother's party, going to do next?
Right now, there is no rule of law in Bangladesh. The constitution is basically being disregarded. So right now, there's nothing much to do. Once the rule of law returns, all of this will get thrown out on appeals, because the entire process is so illegal and unconstitutional that it will not survive. So any legal process will have to wait until there is a rule of law in Bangladesh.
I'm looking at the statement, Sajeeb, which was put out by Yunus interim government on this verdict. And it says that this is a historic verdict. Realizing that the profound significance of this verdict, the interim government is calling on the people of all walks of life to remain calm, restrained, and responsible. It goes on to say that this verdict, which has been long awaited by the people, especially the relatives of the martyrs of the July uprising, may naturally generate emotions in the public mind. The sense is that this is what the people of Bangladesh were waiting for.
Actually, on the contrary, for the last few days, the people of Bangladesh, we have had total shutdowns. Our party called for shutdowns, and the people responded. So Dhaka city and other cities were shut down. People stayed home. So how do you know what the people want without even an election, without an elected government? You cannot know that. This is an unelected government. How can they speak for the people?
Okay, a word now on the details which have emerged, of course, that the former police chief who sought an apology from the tribunal and the people of the country, and hence he was pardoned. This is with regards to Police Chief Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamoon over the same charges.
I don't know about that. You will have to ask his family.
Okay, well, so let me go through this entire, the order which has come in again, Sajeeb. The government has described its July Charter reforms as essential to prevent authoritarianism. How does then this, the sense is that this trial aligns with the democratic governance in Bangladesh, that this will ensure that the process of electing a democratic government will be expedited? Your thoughts on that?
How can you expedite democracy through an unelected, undemocratic government? How is that possible? That is a joke. This has been tried many times before. That is why Bangladesh is in the situation it is because of these undemocratic interventions. And so now the future is even worse. What you're going to have is Bangladesh becoming an Islamist state, probably similar to Iran or something, and you're going to have terrorism. You're going to have a failed state. That is what's going to happen.
The government of Muhammad Yunus is trying to justify Sheikh Hasina's order and has said that they were in absentia. What do you think will be the legitimacy of this verdict?
This verdict has no legitimacy. I think this will eventually get thrown out. Everything will get thrown out. This is just a show. They cannot do anything to my mother. I will have to go as I'm getting other calls. I have other interviews as well. So if we can wrap this up, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. My last question then, Sajeeb, what next for former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who was seen as the Iron Lady of Bangladesh? Will she be heading to Bangladesh at some point? Is she looking at participating in the elections which will be held in the country in 3 to 4 months from now?
Our party, they have banned our entire party, the largest party, from elections. So there's nothing democratic here. Right now, the option to participate is not there at all. There is no democracy in Bangladesh. So when democracy returns, of course she will return. But right now, there is no democracy. Our party is not allowed to participate. So the elections, again, are meaningless. They are another sham. So that question right now is not even possible.
Okay, so you are not sensing that there is a possibility of she going to Bangladesh in near future? Sheikh Hasina is not going to Bangladesh in near future?
No, she will. She will. When democracy returns, she definitely will. When this undemocratic government is gone, she definitely will return.
And will you be participating in the elections? Your party will be participating in the elections? Is that happening?
Right now, we are not allowed to. Right now, we are not allowed to, so it's not possible.
All right, Sajeeb Wazed.
The undemocratic regime has banned us.
Sheikh Hasina's son joining us from Washington, D.C. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to India Today. So this is the big India Today exclusive. Sheikh Hasina's son has called this verdict illegal, and he has said that Prime Minister Hasina has not been allowed defense lawyers. And remember, earlier Hasina had called this verdict politically motivated. Now, Sheikh Hasina herself had said that this is essentially a rigged tribunal which was against her. Now, her son, Sajeeb Wazed, spoke to India Today just a few seconds ago, and he has said that this verdict is illegal. Okay, another piece of breaking news coming in now, and this is with regards to the extradition demand of the Yunus government, which has warned India over Hasina's handover. In fact, Muhammad Yunus government aide of that government has said that this is act of enmity if Hasina is not extradited. Yunus government refers to Hasina as mass murderer. Dhaka has in fact cited extradition treaty with India. Dhaka has gone on to say that Hasina extradition is India's duty. Indrajit Kundu is joining us on the phone line, but before that, there is a reaction coming in.
আরেকটা কথা বলতে চাই, সেটা হচ্ছে আমরা শেখ হাসিনার কে দেশে প্রত্যর্পণের জন্য, এক্সট্রাডিশনের জন্য ভারতের কাছে আবার চিঠি লিখব। ভারত যদি এই গণহত্যাকারীকে আশ্রয় দেওয়া অব্যাহত রাখে, তাহলে ভারতকে বুঝতে হবে এটা বাংলাদেশ এবং বাংলাদেশের মানুষের বিরুদ্ধে একটা শত্রুতা, একটা অত্যন্ত নিন্দনীয় আচরণ।
Indrajit Kundu is joining me on the phone line. So some harsh words coming in from Asif Nazrul, who is the law advisor to the interim government of Muhammad Yunus. He says that extradition is a duty of India. And I've been speaking to some foreign affairs experts and former ambassadors, Indrajit. They are of the opinion that India will never do that. And when it comes to extradition, it doesn't really apply on political extradition. It may be for extradition of other kinds of criminals.
Well, this is a unique situation and a unique challenge for India. Bangladesh, of course, the Bangladesh Muhammad Yunus administration clearly playing to their own gallery, to their own audience, because Asif Nazrul, who is the law minister, the law advisor in the Muhammad Yunus government, he's gone hammer and tongs against India, saying that, it will be treated as an act of animosity if Sheikh Hasina is allowed to remain in India. But the Indian government is yet to clarify the exact status of Sheikh Hasina's stay in India. Has she been given political asylum? We haven't heard in as many terms from the Indian government regarding the exact status of Sheikh Hasina. She came here in an emergency, extraordinary situation. She was given shelter by the Indian administration, the Indian government. She has been a long-standing friend of the country. So that is understandable. But has she been officially given political asylum by the Indian government? The Indian government is yet to, clarify that or express that in words. What we do see, of course, is that the Ministry of External Affairs has now given a statement where they have said that the verdict announced by the International Crimes Tribunal, Bangladesh, quote unquote, concerning that India has noted the verdict. One, it's a very measured statement, and it also says that as a close neighbor, India remains committed to the best interests of the people of Bangladesh, including peace, democracy, inclusion, and stability in the country. So, India will have to do a fine balancing act, because at present, on ground, over the past 1 year, there is huge anti-India sentiment in Bangladesh, and that only gets fueled by.
All right, Indrajit, really appreciate your time. Let me bring in the guests who are joining us now. Shafqat Rabi is a political analyst and founder of Centrist Nation TV. Pinak Chakravarti is former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh. I'm going to begin with you, Ambassador Chakravarti. How do you look at this developing situation, particularly with what has been said by the legal advisor to the interim government, Mr. Asif Nazrul, who has gone to the extent of saying that this is India's duty? Does it really mean that India is legally bound to extradite the former Prime Minister? Because the sense is that this kind of extradition doesn't really apply to political asylum seekers.
Well, firstly, I think no country can demand extradition. Extradition is a legal process. I would like to remind your viewers that India itself has sought extradition of many criminals who are abroad, in UK, in USA. We have succeeded in some cases and we have not. But you have to go through the courts to get an extradition order. So I think that will apply in this case. But over and above all that, the extradition treaty that India has with Bangladesh also has a clause that there shall be no extradition for political reasons. Now, if you can interpret the Hasina's case as a political one, because it clearly, as she has said, it's a result of a vendetta. It's whatever it is that it was all fixed, etc. And there is some truth in that, because I've been talking to people earlier, and they said that she will definitely be given a death sentence because it has already been arranged. So I think these are the kind of things that have been happening. Now, if they wish to go on the rhetorical high road, they are welcome to do so. India will act according to the legal procedures. The law advisor apparently has said that India will be. So let them declare India as the enemy. And then we shall see how India has generally taken a low-key thing in this. I think the MEA has responded saying, in a very low-key manner, saying that we have noted these things. And India will continue to extend its hand of friendship to Bangladesh and will deal with whichever government is legitimately elected in Dhaka.
Okay, Ambassador Chakravarti, you have used a very interesting phrase where you say that extradition cannot be demanded; it has to be agreed upon between the two sides. And the tone and tenor of this government right now in Bangladesh is deeply, concerning. Particularly the tone which has been used that. Act of enmity if Hasina not extradited. Shafqat Rabi, how are you looking at the developing situation? Particularly that is there a sense on the ground among the people that Sheikh Hasina has not been given a fair trial? At least her side should have been heard. Her lawyers should have presented her side of the story.
So thanks for having me. There was definitely a lawyer appointed by the state. There are some procedural reasons why she didn't have her own lawyer. There was a state representative lawyer, Amir Hussain, probably was the name. This verdict, if you look at the legality of the verdict, there is no shortage of evidence on the internet that there was a massive amount of killing that took place during those 36 days of July and August in Bangladesh. The only issue is whether those killings were directed by Sheikh Hasina herself and how much proof that we can have regarding that. And fortunately, in this case, for the prosecution, there were some evidences, including the gentleman, the former police chief, who became a state witness and turned against her boss, his boss, which is Sheikh Hasina, and gave the witness that he received orders from her. So that was one. You have a live state witness here, like a special witness who's testifying against his political leader. And also, during that time, Bangladesh did not have internet, so Sheikh Hasina was talking over unencrypted telephone lines, and her own military or intelligence was tapping her. And those call recordings are now part of the trial. And those call recordings clearly showed some evidences that she was directing some of the helicopter attacks on students. So there were proofs, there are preponderance, abundance of proof all around the internet, and now you have a connection tying her directly. So that was used against her in this tribunal. And the ICT itself was created by Sheikh Hasina at some point to try her opponents, and she successfully executed multiple of her opponents through the ICT tribunal. So it was fair back then, I guess, for her. It should be fair now.
All right, let me give the last word to Ambassador Chakravarti. Ambassador Chakravarti, a word from you on how would you see the development unfold, particularly the legitimacy of this entire trial and also the legitimacy of the electoral process which will be following in Bangladesh.
Well, let me say that the legitimacy of the interim government and the fact that there is no provision for it in the constitution itself has been a big question. And now their actions, which have now resulted in this conviction of Hasina, will come under questioning as well, because after all, the judiciary itself has been overawed in a manner that there are questions as to their impartiality. Because if you remember, after the agitation was over and Hasina was ousted, the Supreme Court judges were forced to resign, almost at gunpoint, I'm told. And then the others were made Supreme Court judges. Now, who picked them? What was the process? Nobody knows. Obviously, they were handpicked so that verdicts, etc. So the judiciary was compromised, and I think the ICT has also been compromised. So these questions have arisen, and it has been asked before, and I think they will be asked now again. So I think this is a problem that they will have to face about this kind of opposition to this verdict, apart from the fact that the Awami League, the largest party in the country, stands banned from activities, etc., and its registration has been. So the next election also will come under question as to why should you have an election by banning a major party? These questions cannot be answered offhand. They will remain, and they will have to deal with these questions because everybody will be watching. And when you say we want free and fair and inclusive election, you can't have that by banning parties from participation.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Shafqat Rabi and Ambassador Chakravarti. Preparations are in full swing in Patna for the grand swearing-in ceremony of Nitish Kumar as the Chief Minister for the 10th time this Thursday. And amidst the preparations, let's discuss the much-hyped Bihar elections of 2025 ended not with a political shake-up, but with a reaffirmation of the state's long-standing bipolar contest. Despite Prashant Kishor's Jan Suraaj party drawing big crowds and big expectations, it failed to convert enthusiasm into seats. The crowds did not turn into votes, leaving the battle squarely between the NDA and the Mahagatbandhan. The Congress party, in fact, slipped further, shrinking from 19 seats in 2020 to just 6 in 2025, weakening the Mahagatbandhan and reinforcing the dominance of the JDU, the BJP, and the RJD. While the Mahagatbandhan's vote share remained virtually unchanged from 2020 to 2025, the NDA jumped from 37.6% to 46.6%, almost like a 10% increase. And this surge came largely from the BJP and the JDU increasing their vote share despite contesting on fewer seats and from formalization of their alliance with the LJP, which had played the role of a spoiler in 2020. But let me give you a sense when we say that is Bihar 2025 now a story of a beginning of a trend in which there will be more and more bipolar contest. Why are we saying that Bihar is moving towards bipolarity? Let me give you a sense. This is how the role of the others is shrinking in the state of Bihar. In 2015, the NDA had a vote share of this, the Mahagatbandhan at 28%. I think this is going to be a reverse of that number, but finally the number was at 24%. Again, if you look at it, the vote share at present stands at this. The vote share of others is just 15%. And as far as the NDA is 47%, the Mahagatbandhan remains at 38. So this move of 7% is the gain which has come towards the NDA. It is gaining not from Mahagatbandhan, which remains consolidated in comparison to their score of 2020, not much of a shift. It is this shift which is coming in now of close to 7% shift, where the others, the role of the others is shrinking. Let me give you a sense of the strike rate here. The others' strike rate has shrunk further to just 2%. As far as other parties are concerned, the NDA and the Mahagatbandhan at 14%, NDA at that percent. Now, the party-wise, why are we saying that it is increasingly becoming a bipolar contest between the two big alliances, that is the NDA and the Mahagatbandhan, is because of this map. The Jan Suraaj polled just 3.4%. As far as the others are concerned, it was further down. These are smaller parties which had contested. The rest includes your MIM, the BSP and others. The vote share was largely between the two big alliances. The bigger pie went to the RJD with 23.4%. That was because of its Yadav and the Muslim vote remaining more or less intact. The BJP, the JDU increased their vote share from the last time, and that had purely come in from the other side. If we look at the VIP party, it stands at 1.4%. Remember, in 2020, the VIP was part of the NDA. At that time, they had won 4 seats. This time, despite polling 1.4% of votes, its seat was just 0. Let me go straight to Patna, from where Mukesh Sani, the VIP president, the party chief, is joining us now. Mukesh Sani, thank you for your time. मेरा सवाल सबसे पहले ये होगा आपसे कि जब आप एनडीए के साथ थे 2020 में, आपका परफॉर्मेंस शायद बेहतर था क्योंकि आप 4 सीट जीते थे. इस बार आपका परफॉर्मेंस बहुत ही खराब रहा है 2025 में. आप किसको जिम्मेदार ठहराते हैं? क्या गलती हो गई?
नहीं, देखिए, बिहार में जो मैक्सिमम सीट हम लोग गठबंधन के सारे साथी जो है चुनाव हार चुके हैं, और बिहार का जनादेश जो है वो लोकतंत्र में जनता जो होता है वो सरकार के काम के आधार पे चुनते हैं, ठीक है. लेकिन ये जो सरकार जो चुना गया है वो काम के आधार पे नहीं चुना गया है. 10,000 रुपया के आधार पे ये सरकार को चुना गया. जो मोदी जी के भाषा से अगर कहेंगे तो रेबड़ी बांट के सरकार बनाना, और 1.5 करोड़ महिला को, हमारी माता बहन को ये बताया गया कि हम सरकार में आएंगे 2 लाख रुपया देंगे. अभी 10,000 रुपया हम दे रहे हैं पहली किस्त. तो इस आधार पे हमारी माता बहन जो है, जो मोदी जी पे या नीतीश जी पे भरोसा किए हैं, उनको वोट दिए हैं, और बड़े पैमाने पे राज्य के यूथ जो है वो हमारे साथ है. चाहे जाति धर्म जो भी हो, बड़े तबके के यूथ जो है हमारे पास है, क्योंकि 39% वोट हमको प्राप्त हुआ है. पिछले इलेक्शन में 37% वोट महागठबंधन को प्राप्त हुआ था. उससे भी आगे बढ़ के हम 39% वोट प्राप्त हुआ है. ये सही है कि वो लोग 200 पार जीते हैं. कोरोना काल में भी बिहार के या देश के लोग परेशान थे. उस समय में सरकार के पास ये नहीं था कि हम लोगों को मदद करें, 10,000 रुपया दे. लेकिन इस समय में वो एक पॉलिसी के तहत उनको 10,000 रुपया दिया, जिसके कारण वोट प्राप्त हुआ है। और इससे पहले एसआर के मामले में भी बहुत सारे हमारे लोगों को वोट काटा गया। आदरणीय राहुल गांधी जी के नेतृत्व में हम लोगों ने बहुत मेहनत किया। बिहार में 18 लाख नए वोटर को हम लोगों ने बनाने में कामयाब हुए। जो 70 साल के लोगों को वोट कट गया था, उसको हम लोगों ने फॉर्म 6 के जरिए हमने बनाया। लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी एक बड़ा तबका जो है महागठबंधन का, जो वोट नहीं जोड़ा पाए, जो लोग प्रदेश में नहीं थे, दूसरे राज्य में थे। तो ये सब मिला के और
लेकिन सानी साहब, आप लोग अपनी जिम्मेदारी नहीं लेते और आपने 10,000 रुपए जो महिलाओं को मिला था उसकी बात कर ली और एसआईआर को जिम्मेदार ठहरा दिया। लेकिन जब मैं जमीन पर थी और मैंने काफी बिहार घूमा है, वहां पर तो महिलाएं 20 साल में जो नीतीश कुमार ने किया है वो सब वो गिना रही थी। ये भी बताया उन्होंने कि 2006 में उन्होंने पोशाक दिया, साइकिल दिया, उसके बाद 50% आरक्षण दिया महिलाओं को पंचायत में, और उनका एक डर था कि अगर तेजस्वी आएंगे तो जंगल राज आएगा। तो क्या तेजस्वी यादव जंगल राज की जो नैरेटिव है उससे अपने आप को पीछा नहीं छुड़ा पा रहे?
नहीं, देखिए, एक परसेप्शन बनाया गया है। और जंगल राज किसने लाया? जंगल राज किसने लाया? जंगल, कौन सा जंगल में से जानवर बिहार में आकर ये उधम मचाता था, ये बिहार के सभी लोगों को पता है। 90 से पहले लोगों को चप्पल पहन के उसके दरवाजे पे जाने के लिए नहीं दिया जाता था, ठीक है। लोगों को उनका अधिकार नहीं दिया जाता था, खेत में काम करा के उनको मजदूरी नहीं दिया जाता था। जब लोग समझदार हुए, अपने अधिकार की बात करने लगे, तो उनको लोगों ने जंगल राज बताने लगा, ठीक है। जबकि जो उस समय के जो लोग थे वो आज हमारे बीच में नहीं रहे, और अभी सब चीज बदल चुका है। अब इसको लेके बार बार ये बिहार को बदनाम करने में लगे हुए हैं। ये बताएं कि 20 साल में निश्चित तौर पे आपने जो कहा कि नीतीश जी एक अच्छे राजनेता है, उन्होंने महिला के लिए, माता बहन के लिए उन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से प्लानिंग करके अभी तक उन्होंने काम किया है। लेकिन वो ये भी तो उसको सोचना चाहिए कि बिहार के युवा के लिए उन्होंने क्या किया। जो 20 साल में युवा, आप देखिएगा 90 का समय का या 2005 से पहले हमारे राज्य से कितने लोग दूसरे प्रदेश में जाके रहते थे। वही बड़े बड़े लोग रहते थे दूसरे प्रदेश में, जिनको अच्छी जिंदगी जीना था। इसलिए वो 2005 से 90 से लेकर 2005 में अपनी अच्छी जिंदगी जीने के लिए मुंबई, दिल्ली, कलकत्ता या बैंगलोर में जाके लोग रहते थे। लेकिन 2005 से लेकर 2025 में जाके देखिए,
मुकेश भाई,
हर एक घर से हमारा
सवाल ये
युवा
है
जो
कि
साथी
जो भी
है,
आपने बोला, आप युवा की बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन युवा को विश्वास आपकी बातों पर नहीं हुआ, ये सच्चाई है। सच्चाई ये है कि बिहार की जनता चाहती है एनडीए को। आप अपनी बातों से उन लोगों को कन्विंस नहीं कर पाए।
को कन्विंस किए हैं। खास करके बिहार के यूथ जो है वो हम लोगों से काफी कनेक्ट हुए हैं। रोजगार के मामले में, उद्योग के मामले में लोग हमसे कनेक्ट हुए, तो ही ना मेरे पास 39% वोट आया। मेरे लिए तो कोई लंदन से या अमेरिका से आके तो हमको वोट दिया नहीं है। और जो हमारे आधार वोट की अगर बात करते हैं कि हमारे पास ये वोट है और ये दम है, तो वोट हमारे 20% के अंदर का वोट है। तो आखिर अगर 20% से हमारा जो आप कह सकते हैं कि कास्ट वाइज या आपके सपोर्टर ये है, तो वो हमारे 20% का ताकत है। अगर हमारे पास 39% वोट मिला है, तो ये मान लीजिए कि मेरे पास सभी जाति, सभी धर्म, सभी वर्ग के लोगों ने हमको वोट दिया है।
ठीक है, मेरा दूसरा सवाल
लेकिन अब आप मेरा सवाल सुनिए, मेरा सवाल सुनिए। ये उम्मीद करी जा रही थी कि आपके आने के बाद, ये महागठबंधन का कैलकुलेशन था कि अगर आपको डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर अनाउंस कर दिया जाएगा तो एक्सट्रीम बैकवर्ड क्लासेस जो नीतीश कुमार के साथ जुड़े रहे हैं वो थोड़ा टूटेंगे, झटकेंगे और आपकी तरफ आ जाएंगे। लेकिन वो नहीं हुआ। मल्ला निषाद कम्युनिटी का थोड़ा ही वोट महागठबंधन को मिला है। आपको क्या लगता है कहां पे फेलियर रहा है?
देखिए, मेरे ये आप बोल रहे या कोई परसेप्शन बना रहा है तो बनाए, मुझे उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। मेरी वोट जो है, हमने हमेशा कहा कि मेरे पास 11% वोट है। बिन बेलदार, नुनिया, मला, चाय, तियर, बनपर, गोरी 22 उपजाति में 11% वोट है। 11% का पोलिंग कैपेसिटी 7% है और 7% वोट हमने महागठबंधन को दिया है। ये पेपर पेन लेके बैठिएगा, आपको साबित हो जाएगा, कहीं 90%, कहीं 85%, कहीं 80%, कहीं 100%। हमारे लोगों ने एज ए सन ऑफ मल्ला को डिप्टी सीएम बनाने के लिए वोट किया है। लेकिन हमने 7% का दावा कर रहे हैं, हम 39% या 42% लाने की बात हम कभी नहीं कहा। और रहा कि 7% हमने वोट दिया, तो ही तो 39% वोट आया है। अगर हमारी वोट अगर नहीं मिलता तो ये 39% वोट कैसे हो जाता? कोई जादू तो है नहीं। हम मोदी जी के जैसा कोई जादू तो करते नहीं है। हमारे पास जो वोट अगर 39% आया तो कहां से वोट आया?
लेकिन मेरा
तो
सवाल अब
मेरा
आपसे ये
वोट
है,
हो या
सुनिए सुनिए सुनिए, 2029 के लोकसभा चुनाव में या 2030 में जब बिहार में चुनाव होगा, आज से 5 साल के बाद, तो मुकेश साहनी क्या करेंगे? क्या आप इसी अलायंस के साथ जुड़े रहेंगे, या जिस तरह से आपने 5 साल पहले भाजपा के साथ आप थे, इस बार आप महागठबंधन के साथ हो गए, तो क्या आपने अपना सोचा है कि क्या करने वाले हैं?
ये सब बोल के आप लोग हमें बेइज्जत करते हैं। हम ऑलरेडी विचार से बंधे हुए हैं, हर हाल में महागठबंधन के साथ थे, हैं और आगे राहुल गांधी जी के साथ हैं जब तक देश में बदलाव नहीं लाएंगे। देश में तानाशाह का जड़ से उखाड़ नहीं फेंकेंगे। जो हमारे युवा के रोजगार छीनता हो, जो हमारे लोगों को गुलाम बनाना चाहता हो, जो 5 किलो चावल देकर ये बताते रहे कि तुम गुलाम हो, तुम्हारा विकास यही है, ऐसे लोगों को जब तक हम देश से बाहर नहीं कर देंगे तब तक हम चैन से बैठेंगे नहीं। और राहुल गांधी जी के नेतृत्व में देश में हम लोग आने वाले समय में चुनाव लड़कर और ऐसे लोगों को बाहर करेंगे जो गरीब को
चलिए, आखिरी सवाल मेरा आपसे ये है कि लगभग 48 घंटों में जो बिहार से खबर आ रही है वो इस पर कि तेजस्वी यादव की जो बहन है उन्होंने परिवार पर गंभीर आरोप लगाया है, और खास करके उन लोगों पर जो तेजस्वी के इर्द गिर्द हैं, जैसे संजय यादव हुए। तो आप उन लोगों से मिलते रहते होंगे, तो ये जब उनकी बहन इस तरह का आरोप लगाती हैं तो आप किस तरह से देखते हैं?
नहीं, देखिए इसमें देखिए हम लोग काम के सिलसिले में मिलते हैं और हम लोग एज ए अलायंस पार्टनर के तहत हम लोग मिलते हैं, तो हमें ऐसे कोई एहसास नहीं है। और हर पार्टी हर गठबंधन में थोड़ा सा नोक झोंक तो होता ही है। सब पावर सेंटर की ज्यादा पावर किसके पास होना चाहिए उसके लिए नोक झोंक होता है, तो ये कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है। बट ये सब ऐसी कोई बातें नहीं है। रहा कि पारिवारिक, हमारे रोहिणी दीदी ने कुछ बोला है, हमने टीवी मीडिया में भी देखा है। इस पे उनके परिवार के लोग ही ज्यादा बेहतर बता पाएंगे। इस पे मुझे टिप्पणी करना मेरे लिए सही नहीं होगा। मैं तेजस्वी जी को भी सम्मान करता हूँ, रोहिणी दीदी को भी सम्मान करता हूँ और मेरे अच्छे संबंध है, संजय यादव जी से भी अच्छे संबंध है। तो हमें इसमें बीच में कुछ भी बोलना मुझे लगता है सही नहीं रहेगा। और मुझे लगता है कि सब समय रहते हुए सब चीज सही हो जाएगा।
ठीक है मुकेश भाई, thank you for joining us. Let me bring in Dr. Sanjay Jaiswal, BJP's chief whip in the Lok Sabha, member of parliament also, and former BJP president of Bihar. Dr. Jaiswal, congratulations. It's a huge victory. You can certainly smile and do calculations as to what really has happened in Bihar. The Prime Minister, Dr. Jaiswal, has said something very interesting on the day of the results when he was addressing the Karyakartas. He said that बिहार अब जाति पे वोट नहीं करता। तो ये जो मैंडेट है, is that the way BJP is seeing the mandate, that the state has moved beyond caste?
This state has always moved beyond caste after 2005. What we have seen was the development, was the main agenda. That was the reason why we won with more than 200 seats in 2010. In 2020 also, if you calculate the votes of NDA plus Chirag plus Upen Kushwaha, we would have done the same thing which we had done at present. It's MG Mahagatbandhan votes were 37% last time. This time also it was 37%. It was a vote share together with all the NDA partners, which has increased drastically, and that has turned out into more than 200 seats. They've already done this in 2010. And we have repeated in 2025. So it's the vote of NDA has been always constant. The people who are having faith on development, those people who have faith that Bihar should be run by Sushashan, we should not allow Jangal Raj to come here. So these are the things. We are happy that they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Jaiswal also
is very happy that they are blaming SIR, they are blaming other factors which were non-existent. We are also happy. Let them, don't introspect them, and they should blame all these things, and they will never get corrected, and we will always do the same thing.
No, my question is, Bihar, caste remains the fulcrum, but are the caste groups loosening or opening up? Because if you look at the vote share of both the sides, NDA and the Mahagatbandhan, it remains at the, you have gone up, but Mahagatbandhan remains at 38%, something that they got last time. So my question is that have you polled in from the others, where is that number coming from? And also because, there is a 6% direct addition which is coming in from Chirag Paswan's LJP.
So also Upen Kushwaha. Upen Kushwaha also scored roughly 4% of vote last time. And when we all were together, we had done the same thing which we did it in 2010. In Bihar, the issue of Jungle Raj will always remain. And the day when the national executive of RJD happened, and they said, Shahabuddin Amar hai, Taslimuddin Amar hai. And look at the present, we were not knowing, but after this Tejasvi Yadav's sister episode, who is Ramiz? Ramiz has more than 14 cases. He has been a murderer. The person who has been murdered, his own brother came from Balrampur and he gave interviews to different TV. So you are still not living that era which has ruined Bihar. Remember in 2005, per capita income of Bihar was mere 6,000 rupees per annum. And we have started what Bihar was in 1947. And from taking there, we reached 70,000, which is more than 10 times in these 20 years. That shows we are pro-development. People believe in us, especially the women, whom through Jivika, Nitish has given a lot of strength. They have started earning. They have become independent. I remember my sister got married in 1996. And the people came from Mumbai. Their first question was that, does Bihar don't have any women? We came from Patna to Betia, and we didn't saw even one woman on road. From that condition, seeing in villages all girls moving through bicycle just in 2008, that has changed the Bihar.
Okay. Dr. Jaiswal, we are witnessing a changed Bihar for sure. I certainly hope as a Bihari that the state grows with further fervor and it grows with enthusiasm in future. Thank you for your time. I'll keep bothering you during the upcoming parliament session as well, because you are the chief whip of the BJP in the Lok Sabha. Sajjan Kumar and Amitabh Tiwari join us. Amitabh Tiwari, caste has been the organizing principle of electoral politics in Bihar. It has shaped alliances, decided strategies, and candidate selection for decades. Are you sensing a change this time around?
Yeah, there is a very interesting trend, Marya. Up till 2020, almost on 90% of the seats, the same caste or social group candidate used to win the elections.
We are putting out your graphics only, Amitabh Tiwari. Just look at this. Yeah. Exactly what you had said.
Yeah. Correct. So essentially,
the other one,
irrespective of parties, a particular caste or community was winning from those seats. Now, in 2025 or up to 2025, what has happened is that the hold of particular caste on these seats has declined, and from 90%, this number has come down to 60%, which is a big decline in that sense. So on 60% of the seats, still that particular caste community candidate, particular caste community holds influence, but it has significantly reduced from 90% to 60%, which means the balance 30% are largely voting on development, issues, beneficiary status, vikas, etc. So I think this is a big trend which we are witnessing, that is reduction of hold of caste on the particular constituencies and at the state level.
Okay, that's fascinating, Sajjan. The emerging theme is clear. Bihar perhaps is standing at crossroads.
Yes and no, both at the same time, because we do see that there is a trend to vote by bringing under consideration factors beyond caste, and that beyond factor or a plus factor is one, leadership, two, the welfare schemes, which becomes the pull factor for genders and so many castes. But do remember that in Bihar, we are also witnessing, and as Amitabh Tiwari is talking about the 30%, who are these 30%, right? overwhelmingly, and this is my insight, that overwhelmingly these 30% are the unanchored caste. When I say unanchored caste, which means the caste who do not have significant leaders. So, for example, you do not expect a Paswan voter, to override Chirag Paswan's stature and directional clue. You do expect overwhelmingly the EBCs and many of the Dalit leaders who do not witness, right? Bihar has 22 Dalit caste. But how many Dalit leaders are there? You have Chirag Paswan, you have Jitan Ram Majhi, and you may have Rajeshwaram, etc. But beyond that, still for almost 15 to 16 castes who are minuscule, you do not have any directional clarity. So these unanchored castes will always vote for caste plus schemes, leadership, etc. But the centrality of the anchored caste, I think, is going to stay for some time. Degree may differ.
Okay, so Amitabh, let me give you the last word. Caste remains relevant, but a new calculus is taking shape, one that demands flexibility, inclusiveness, and imagination. Is this a fair assessment then?
Of course, representation was a big theme when we traveled across Bihar this time. You must have also realized this largely amongst the minority community. We have seen that this feeling was there. However, people are giving a chance to parties, leaders also at constituency level who show a vision for the future, who are not only seeking votes in the name of caste, like NDA, for example, also, which was not just seeking votes in the name of the bigger or the grander social coalition it had. The votes were sought in the name of a new Bihar or on the manifesto points which it has promised to the people of Bihar. So I think the people of Bihar are also gradually, this election is very important in that sense. It could signal a big pivot in years to come from traditional caste-based politics to development-oriented politics or voting.
Yes, absolutely fascinating how Bihar is ushering in a new era here. Thank you so much for joining us, Amitabh Tiwari and Sajjan Kumar. The era when caste alone could script election outcomes is fast fading. The future belongs to those who can build broader alliances and address the complex aspirations of voters beyond traditional fault lines, is a message coming in from Bihar. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.